right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who do well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopefully got there pushing his word and truth. And it's a series that across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopefully the believers and listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All right, and what I want to get into this morning, is dealing with, eyes on the prize and double down, and it's just a response, to a few happenings, that we see happening, within the world, all right, and also within Israel, okay, because as you can see, as you have, more nations, getting involved in conflicts, well, that's a sign of the times, Yahweh Shai, which no one knows the exact date, but he gave us a token of things that would be happening, all right, that would signify his return, okay. And the thing is to be found, okay, a faithful. What Yahweh shall say when he returns, shall he find faith on the earth, man? And we want to be found believing, okay, when this thing goes down, man. All right, and that's why we can't get distracted, okay, with things that don't matter. We can't be too over concerned with things that don't matter. We need to double down in righteousness, man. Because as you can see, the Lord, as the scriptures say, he will search Jerusalem, with candles to see who settle on their leaves, man. Okay? And as you can see, you deal with these other camps, what you got going on, you have major exposure going on, man. Okay? We already know dealing with Sakari. Then you had the madness with IUIC now. All right? You see, their madness they got, assaulting members, and it just, what we're seeing is the Lord is showing you, all right, he's narrowing it down by process of elimination, who he's dealing with and who he's not dealing with, man. Okay? And we can clearly see, all right, the things that these guys are involved with. You see their track records, man. The Lord not dealing with that madness, man. You can't just keep teaching in the name of Christ, Most High, and Christ blessed, okay, and go unscathed, man. Because at a point it gets disrespectful, man. Okay, and that just shows lack of reverence, lack of fear of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. All right, to continue to call his son out his name, man. That's a heavy offense. We bring it up all the time, but that's a heavy offense, man. That's not nothing like what those men are doing, continuing to call, all right, the Son of the Heavenly Father, all right, Christ, man. That's a heavy offense. And the Lord is finna start walking down on these guys, man. And as we see these things, man, that should put us in more fear and to double down in what we're supposed to be doing, man. Because the Lord has both examples at the same time on how not to be and how to be, man. At the water, Yahweh Bashim Al Shah for spiritual leadership, man, for spiritual, serious-minded men, all right, our apostles and elders, okay, bishops, okay, the brothers, they have, been around since YouTube started with GMS, man. Those brothers, those different camps, our camp heads, man. Just that spiritual leadership that we got from top to bottom, okay, that push, all right, the same thing, which is doing this work, man. Being the brother off camera, all right, not being the nigga, man. Okay, and you still got Jake still being the nigga, man. And now these things are starting to be exposed, man. The guy from IUIC, he said he got knocked out by a nigga that was doing gang signs. And, he don't know if he got hit with the pistol. And it's like, what are y'all niggas doing, man? How y'all even involved in all that, man? Like, how y'all still involved in that, man? These same guys, push the, okay? So, nah, man, we let them niggas be clowns over there, man. When the scriptures say let filthy be filthy still, it's not just talking about, Jake that's not Israelite, that doesn't know he's an Israelite, man. It's talking about these niggas in Israel too, man. That know that they Israelites, man, because these niggas have some hell of offenses with the fringes on, man. Okay, that's a new offense that Jake got with the fringes on, because you know both of them niggas, you know, all them niggas had fringes on, man. The nigga that got knocked out had fringes. The nigga that knocked them out had fringes on. The guy that stopped them, that broke it up, that nigga had fringes on. Left the scene. Okay? Jake just there leaking, you know, according to his testimony. All right? But at the end of the day, it's like, what are we doing, man? Like, going back to, Jake has lost sight of the assignment, man. You know, Jake has completely lost sight of the assignment, okay? And they've turned their ministry into niggerdom, man. Okay? When you do nigger things, when you do nigger things, you get nigger results, man. You know, we're not surprised, man. You know? And it's gonna be more things come out on these guys in which Israel, like the scriptures say, Israel strained at the neck, but they swallow a camel. You know? Because with these other groups, they can do any and everything and still have a following, okay? Still be defended. All right, but you look at GMS, okay, we can't do anything wrong, man, even if the appearance of something wrong, all right, and Israel in the uproar, okay, but these niggas got freeway to do whatever they want, but the scriptures say that, man, that they speak well of false prophets, man, so that's a token of being a false prophet where you can do no wrong, you know, when you have, when you're being defended in your wickedness, that's a token of a false prophet, man. You know? So, as we see what's happening, man, it should make us double down and keep our eyes on the prize, man. We right here, brothers. You know? We right here like the Lord got us in our right mind. The brothers ain't got us, you know, being niggas and, you know, into all this extra shit, man. That's a blessing, you know, that the Lord is keeping these enchantments off us, man. You know? Going back to John the 17th chapter, okay, when you read it, that prayer, and then Yahushua prayed for us, man. You know, that he knew that we wasn't of this world, all right, that when we woke up, you know, we will become bitter in this society because we're not of this world, we're not of this age, man. You know, we hate this shit, okay? Like there's a deep hatred, man, to a point that we gotta, you know, you gotta catch yourself from not going into a depression because, you know, the intense hatred that we develop for this place, man. You know, but the balance is the joy that's in Yahushua, man. Seeing prophecy being fulfilled real time. And that's our joy. You know, 1 John 14 and 27. St. John 14 and 27. Also, St. John 16 and 33. Okay? Our joy is in Yahushua, man, in the midst of us being vexed in this world. And see, Yahushua prayed, all right, that we didn't get taken out of the world, but that we stay away from the evil, that we be protected from the evils, man. All right, and Jake still got worldly demons on him, man. That's part of the evils, man. Jake be plagued in the mind with the fringes on, but Jake be plagued, man. You know, Jake can't get over this world. All right, Jake can't stop having long hair and getting lineups, man. That's the token to show that Jake is looking back at this world, man. That's of the world. Okay? But the Lord prayed, you know, that we will be protected from the evils of this world, man, because we'll be in the midst of all these enchantments, you know? And that's why, you know, it's a day-to-day fight to conquer the flesh, man. You know? And that's free. You see, true liberty is the more we conquer the flesh, the more liberty we have, man, because this world doesn't have leverage on us, man. You know? Because that whole argument with IUIC, it went back to, you know, as they were saying, I ain't watched the testimony, but just what brother been speaking on, is it went back to a goddamn woman, man. Okay, that goddamn woman, these niggas in the true fight over a goddamn woman, man. That's why women should be in the midst of men. You know? That old co-ed scenario where you got the women in class with the brothers and that, nah, man, that's off. It's always gonna be folly, man. To get caught up in that folly, man. Because of flesh, this world doesn't have that leverage, it doesn't have pull on us. You know, and it's a constant fight, you know, we can't slack, you know, because the flesh is always there, you know, trying to revive itself, man. The flesh is always trying to resurface, man, and reattach to this world. And that's the day-to-day fight, you know? And that's why you combat the flesh by being in the spirit, man. Okay? Reading, fasting, praying, doing the work. You see? Being disciplined, man. Self-restraint. Being in the spirit, man. And you strengthen your spirit because the flesh is always there, but you strengthen your spirit to the point to where your spirit can dominate your flesh, man. You don't have to worry about women having leverage on you, man. Okay? You don't have to worry about this world having leverage on you, man. Because in our temptation, the Lord, which we know is all through Yahweh by Shema Shai, but Esau Edom is going to use people lust, all right, and attachment to this world against them, man. Okay? A lot of people are going to bend the knee because of their attachment to this world, man. Because they're lust in this world. All right? You see, the allurement, because people still going to have that allurement of this world, man. And he's going to present, the MOTB, as an upgrade, to upgrade the life that people already have, man. And a lot of people, all right, are going to take the bait, So as we see all the madness that the Lord is exposing in Israel, man, and the Lord got us here in our right mind, man, we should double down, man. We should tighten up on the right things that we are doing, man. And the script says never enough, man. Always looking for ways to get better. All right, because our eyes on the prize, man. Hey, this shit is right ahead of us, man. The kingdom is at hand. It's right ahead of us, man. Okay? And the Wadi Yahweh Shema Shai, once again, for spiritual, mature, all right, serious-minded leadership, man. Okay? It's not with the gimmicks, not trying to be a character, okay? All this reality TV energy that niggas got in Israel, man. The Wadi Yahweh Shema Shai for austere, balanced, spiritual leadership, man. And we're going to see the value of that coming into the clutch, man. And we're going to see, how many Israelites that know that they're Israelites have been set up for complete failure, man. These men are set up for failure, man. Following IUIC, the big three, IUIC, ISUPK, and Sakari, all right, have set thousands and thousands of Israelites up for failure, man. Complete failure. All right. You see, this is what we're about to witness, man. You're gonna be in bad state because if you in IUIC, you don't know what you believe. Okay, you've been still calling on Christ. All right, you're gonna try to call on the name of the Lord in the clutch. It ain't gonna be sincere, and you're gonna not be heard, man. Okay, this grace period you played. You see. Jake want to do what they want within this grace period, but then Jake gonna want all the perks of mercy when shit get rough, man. Okay? Well, Jake didn't want to sacrifice nothing, man. Jake didn't want to follow any type of order. Okay? Niggas still want to be niggas, women still want to be feminists. But then when the time of judgment comes, everybody gonna want mercy, man. It don't work like that, man. Okay? If you a part of ISUPK, don't know what you believe, because ISUPK or IUIC don't teach what the MOTB is. They don't teach us to see him, so you don't know what to believe, man. Okay, you're being set up to bend the knee. Okay, if you're not being taught to reject this thing in the name of Yahweh Shema Shai, you're being taught to bend the knee, man. You're being conditioned to bend the knee in the clutch, man. Okay. Your leadership is just, your leadership is full of gimmicks, goofy. These old ass men, goofy as hell, man. All about games, all about following and being popular, man. And that's another thing with Jake, man. Jake never leave that junior high school mindset, man. That's why it's all about being popular, the in crowd, the clicks, and the appearance and all that. That's the high school. That's how you rate people in high school, man. By outfits and, the guy that get in trouble, you go to detention every day, you popular and shit like. That's the type of shit that's popular in high school, man. And a lot of Israelites, in and out the truth, They never matured past junior high, high school, man. That's why they still grade themselves based off high school qualities and standards, man. Okay? Like I say, outfits and, car. You see what Jake was saying, Hebrew and the Hellcat. All that bullshit, we gonna see how it has did nothing but set Israel up for failure, man. Okay? Sakari, you with Sakari, you don't know what you believe, man. You fasting for a goddamn moment. Here it is, we in the clutch. The Lord is finna judge the earth. We the time where the Lord is pitched at the earth and niggas is fasting for a moment. So they let you know, them niggas don't know what they believe, man. They ain't got no foundation. IUIC has no foundation. Sakari has no foundation. ISUPK have no foundation, man. Okay? You see? These guys, they just running, with this Hebrew Israelite, celebrity. Okay, they made themselves celebrity. They're the harness the following, but no one's being cultivated, man. No one's being cultivated in Yahweh Shai, man. Look how these guys deal with real situations, real time, man. Okay? There's no way that it should get to that point with a brother to where you trying to beat a brother to death, man. Okay? But these are men that's not being cultivated in Yahweh Shai. Okay? You see, we're going to see these things play out more and more. And as we see the madness that these niggas got going on, it should make us double down in righteousness, man. Okay? Be out the way more, man. Separate more from these niggas, man. Okay? Separate more from people, man. You're not here to be in the mix of this mad record, man. Joe Morgan out of training. Okay? How the hell you training, man? What are you doing? Okay? Got taking a picture of his ride, sending it to, another brother in IUIC. Okay? Just madness, man. Adultery from the leadership, extortion. Okay? And see, and GMS is the only one calling these men out. If it weren't for GMS, Israel would be a goddamn shit show, man. That's why the Lord said if it wasn't for a remnant, we'd have been likened to Sodom and Gomorrah, man. Because as you can see, Jake cool with sodomy. Okay? With the fringes on, Jake is cool with sodomy. Where the flip side saying that they keep the law perfectly, man. Jake, it would be a complete shit show if the Lord didn't raise up the apostles and elders of GMS, man, and the men under them that's teaching the truth and sincerity and the true affiliate camps, man. But if it wasn't for those body of men, the serious leadership that the Lord raised up, man, Israel would be a complete shit show, man. Okay? Niggas would be right back into the world, man. Okay? Because the only people that's keeping receipts of this shit and calling them out is one group. Alright? Because they don't call each other out like that. Now, they do love to expose things like ISUPK, Captain Zariak, because he's, been going into it with Sakari. Alright? So they do have that black culture, that black culture podcast spirit to where, it's all about exposing, people's madness. Okay? They do that. But they don't correct each other's doctrine. Okay? Now, they love to hear some gossip and some mess. All right? Jake loved that. AT babies. Niggas love to, gossip, make a nigga date. They love to run to the camera about some gossip and, some type of scandal. Which the Lord exposed these different scandals. And we address these things. But Jake act like, Jake, it ain't no big deal to Jake, man. These niggas' track record ain't no big deal, but they'll hang on to a lie about us, a slander about us. They hang on to that. They bring that up every chance they get. But these niggas they done deleted people. All right, niggas done got pegged. Niggas, the ordered a tranny online. Like goddamn. Now you got this, nigga that assaulted the man, pretty much left him, for dead. Okay? You see? You got all this madness going on amongst these guys, man. But Jake won't flinch, man. That's why Howard Shai told them niggas, say, y'all Y'all swallow a camel with y'all strained in the neck, man. You know? And then this is what you see. But that's what it's meant to be, man. And it's good that the Lord is making a clear separation, man. You know, and if you're new to this and you're watching both sides, man, look at what these niggas are doing, man. That's why the scriptures say you gotta read the scriptures, man. These guys are not line up to the scriptures, man. They're telling you to keep the law perfectly with a line up. They've been doing this for years. Yeah, man, they've been doing this for years, man. All right, these guys been telling, preaching the law. These guys are telling you to keep the law with a line up, man. Okay. Look at what the guys are doing in real time, man. Okay, these men are telling, they're telling you to keep the law, but being sodomites, man. You gotta, if you're new and you're coming into this thing, and we all went through that phase of, looking at different camps, when we first woke up. Hey, you gotta line these guys up with the scriptures, man. All right, this is why you coming in new, man. You gotta start getting familiar with the Bible, man. Read the scriptures, man. Because reading the scriptures put a spirit of discernment on you, man. See, Christianity taught us just to be subjugated to what the preacher said. It really didn't encourage look things up. Just sit down and listen to this nigga holler and sing for 2 goddamn hours sweat. Okay? But as we come into the truth, that's another thing about our apostles and elders, man. They push us to be scholarly, man, to look into these things, man. To examine what they say. They've always, pushed us brothers to examine what they say, man. Look it up. No. They never taught us to take their word for anything, man. They taught us to do our own independent study, man. And the scriptures say that everyone be persuaded in their own mind. And see, they played a part in making us thorough. They played a major part in making each brother thorough. See, the Lord dealing with quality, man, not quantity, man. Okay? All these niggas marching around, the Barclays Center, Jake marching through San Francisco, through the hood, man. The Lord not dealing with that shit, man. Okay? The Lord don't care about them niggas, man. The goddamn niggas woman, man. Alright? You see, the Lord give 2 shits about niggas in Eve, alright? And they goddamn folly, man. Okay? The Lord's finna send them to torment, man. Hell, and a lot of them finna get nuked. Okay? How much, alright, do you have to don't give a damn about someone to allow them to be nuked? And that's just in this time, because on the other side, they're gonna be good. But right now, in this time frame, because we dealing with the mindset we need to be in to get to salvation, man, to be delivered. Okay? Right now, the Lord ain't got his ass, alright, on niggas in their plight, man. The nigga woman in her plight, man. They're not needed. The nigga woman in America is not needed. Brothers, you have to understand that. Alright? The earth is full of women. We're going to be fruitful and multiply in the kingdom, man. The women don't stop with the nigga woman in America, man. Her participation is not needed for what we got going on, man. Okay? That's why the majority of them, alright, are finna get caught in nuclear destruction, man. Okay? They finna get caught out here in this chaos, man. Alright? And the Lord gonna have mercy on the few sincere sisters, man. You sisters that's sincere and fight, you're gonna be good, man. Okay? You're gonna be good, man. The Lord got it all worked out, man. You're gonna be good, man. However it go. You just gotta trust in that process, man. But the Lord got all that figured out, man. Alright? However it happened, man. Even if you don't meet, you don't get linked with a brother to the chariot, you're gonna be good. Okay? But the majority of these nigga women in America were born to be put to death, man. That's what we got to understand, man. And the nigga woman value goes down by the hour, man. It's 8, it's about 8:30 now. So by 9 o'clock, the nigga woman value gonna go down some more, man. Okay? So as men, man, we can't be, still infatuated with the goddamn nigga woman, man. Okay? still falling for all these goddamn violin stories and shit, man. Let them have that shit, man. We on to something else, man. We finna get everything, man. We have to keep that mindset, brothers. We finna get everything, man. It's gonna be in righteousness. It's gonna be to our desire, man. We ain't gonna have to wrestle with it or nothing, man. No, it's gonna complement us, man. Everything that Yahweh Shah finna give us is finna complement us, man. It ain't gonna be a burden. It ain't gonna be a hassle, okay? It ain't gonna be a distraction, man. It's gonna be, all right, it's gonna complement us, man, and our purpose, man, and our legacy, man. We finna get everything, man. We have to really understand and meditate on what's right in front of us, man. All we have to do is keep our eyes on the prize, man, and double down, man. You brothers out there on the front line, man, you know, we here, man. The Lord gonna reward this men. Okay? This world has nothing to offer us, man, but chaos, all right, trauma, dysfunction. Okay? Nah, man, like, we gotta light. It's time to lighten up the load, man. You know? What the scriptures say, Hebrews 12:1. You know, how we you know, put off all weight, you know, of anything that can beset us, man. Of sin that can beset us, man. You know, because something can be a sin, but you can overindulge in it, and it can become a sin because you begin to put that before, you know, Yahweh Bashim Al Shah. We can put things before our power, you know. So, nah, man, it's time to lighten up the load of the unnecessary, man. Get rid of all the unnecessaries, man. Okay? You see, we're not here to be, all right, therapists. Okay? We're not here to be, you know, the family, you know, mediator. All right? Everybody try to call you, you know, if they problems. Nah, man, we're not here for that, man. We doubling down in this. Our energy got to be reserved for Yahweh Shah, man. We should be very particular what we give our time and our energy to, man. You know, and we should reserve as much as possible for Yahweh Shah, man. Okay? And we see the benefits of not being joined to this madness, man. The unity camps and all the madness that they got going on. But here it is, these guys did unity camps together. You know, Sakari was just on the, you know, you had Alizar on the panel with Captain Tazariak not too long ago. You know, there was on that guy, No Fugazi. Okay, they was on his podcast, and they was on the panel together. And then a few weeks, you had this going on, man. Okay? What happened? Captain Tazariak, he didn't waste the opportunity to blast him out there. You see? You know? Which, hey, the Lord had that happen, man. The Lord, you know, exposed that, man. But then it just shows you these guys, you know, there's no true unity, okay? Because he could have addressed him, you know, privately first before he went publicly, but he went straight public first, man, because niggas love that shit. Jake love that gossip, you know. Like I say, that so popular, that Wendy Williams spirit. That's the spirit that niggas got, man. That Wendy Williams spirit, man. Jake love that shit, man. You know, and this is what Jake, you know, has turned, all right, their ministry into, man, because they have another ministry, man, because they're not true ministers of Yahweh Shah, man. All right, you think Yahweh Shah would be around that folly if he was in the earth today, man? Okay, that folly that them niggas got going on. Okay, that's why Yahweh Shah, he used to teach and retreat, man. He used to teach this word and get out the way, man. And that's the best way to be, you know? Like when we really, as we, you know, go into, you know, being kings, you know, training to be kings and, you know, highborn and noble, you know, well, one thing about, you know, kings and men of high status, man, they're not easily accessible like that, man. Okay? They're not easily accessible like that, man. All right? You might see them every now and then. Okay, but they come, you know, they real intentional how they move, man. You study, you know, royal people, man. They you know, royal people of integrity, man, and honor. You know, they're real intentional how they move, man. Okay, and we gotta be real intentional how we move, man. We just not out here because we not trying to be seen. We don't need to be popular, man. We don't need cheerleaders. We don't need none of that shit, man. All right. We're here to edify the elect, man. The fact that brothers and sisters are being built up, man. That's the purpose, man. You know, we do that and dip out. You know, teach and retreat, man. And that's how Yahweh Shai style was, man. He taught and then he would just separate from everybody, man. You know, he'll do miracles and then he'll dip out. Okay? He wasn't trying to be on the scene. He wasn't trying to be, all right, that guy in Rome, man. Like I say, was Yahweh Shai could have been more popular than all these niggas, man. Okay? If that's the route that Jake wanted to go, man, Yahweh Shai has spiritual powers, man. Come on, man. You know? But that ain't what he was on, man. He was about the Father's business and staying out the way, man. You know? And his benefits of staying out the way, man. You don't get caught up in this madness, man. You know? Our names are not coming up. Because all they're going to do, you know, they're going to lie. You know, they're going to slander. You know? Because even Al-Azhar, he tried to blame that on us, man. Just like a nigga woman. You know? And it didn't surprise me. Alright? He tried to blame GMS for his father. Okay? You know, he went way back. That's what women do. That's what the nigga woman does, man. Alright? And these niggas are products of the nigga woman. Okay? That's why you see a lot of nigga woman tendencies, man. A lot of nigga woman mannerism in Israel because these niggas are the product of the nigga woman and they don't never heal from that, man. Because that's something that you know, even you know, brothers, all right, deal with that, you know, being raised under that matriarch, that feminine, that vibration, you know, that nigga woman vibration. And the thing with it, Yahweh Shai heals us from that, man. You know, certain, you know, flaws and unwanted qualities, you know, we heal from that in Yahweh Shai. But these men, all right, never began the healing process, man. Okay, because when you reject order, you reject Yahweh Shai. See, Jake, see, that's the thing with nigga culture. With nigga culture, you can just do and say any goddamn thing, okay, and there's supposed to be no consequences. Okay? Like the mindset of nigga culture is delusional to where they think you can do and say anything with no consequences. You can't just buck up against the order that the Lord set up in the earth of the apostles and elders and expect it to go good for you, man. Okay? You can't just, you know, lie and slander and expect it to go good for you, man. Okay? But nigga culture promotes that to where you can just say anything, do anything. The nigga woman, that's her mindset. She just gonna say and do any goddamn thing. No authority on earth can tell her what to do. You know? That's that nigga woman mindset, man. Okay, and Jake bring that shit in the truth, and they never begin to heal from their wounds in the world, man. Okay, and that's why they still react, all right, in the worldly fashion, man. Whether it's nigga shit or that matriarch shit, you know, that's all Jake know how to react to, man. You know, so what we're seeing now, you know, is the Lord just doing a major expose. You know, a major expose on niggas, man. You know, and it's gonna continue to get worse and worse. You know, it's gonna be more folly. All right. And one thing about it, niggas love exposing each other, man. You know, so niggas got that down pat. You know, when it comes to exposing each other and, you know, putting each other out there, niggas got that down pat. All right. Niggas gonna do thorough videos, 2, 3, 5 hours. You know, every day. You know, 5 hours, you know, every day niggas gonna have something to say, something new. You know, gonna be more text message thread and all that bullshit. But as we see that, man, we should constantly be separating more and more, man. You know, and locked into this, man, because like, this is the only thing that's gonna pay off. You know, it's the only thing that's gonna pay off. Everything else is gonna get worse. All right, we're about to watch everything else get worse, man. You know, niggas in the world finna get worse. The nigga woman finna catch all type of goddamn ill. Okay, and why, man, brothers, don't be gullible out here, man, because these women finna be in survival mode. You know, don't be gullible. You know, the Lord gon', you know, as far as, you know, Isaiah 4:1, You know, however they work. You see, the Lord gonna put things together. All right, but even dealing with that, man, that doesn't mean it's just, you know, everything that come your way. Like, nah, man, it's still a vetting process, man. You know, so brothers, be mindful, man. Don't be gullible, man. Cause Eve, all right, the hyena finna be in survival mode, man. Okay, on a whole nother level, man. All right, these women, you know, cause see that feminism is, you seeing the fruits of it's done played out. You know, the gimmick is up. Okay, so that shit done played out, and now that shit ain't working in the world. Don't be surprised if you see an influx, okay, of head wraps. Okay? I'm surprised you see an influx of head wraps, man. Watch these hoes, man. You know, especially you younger brothers, you know, you might be a little green. Alright? Hey, watch these hoes, man. Okay? You know, they Eve know how to get into character to survive. Alright? You see Brittany Renner, this bitch a Muslim now. You know, this bitch got the hijab, you know, at the court side, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, watch these hoes, man. These hoes know how to get in characters to survive, man. You know? So just brothers, be mindful of that. Alright? Hey, stay focused on the legacy, man. And we got everything needed. You know, we got everything needed to make it to those cherries, man. And that's the thing. And we'll be rewarded forever, man. We're gonna be rewarded forever, man. So we ain't gotta be thirsty for anything, man. We ain't gotta be in desperation mode for anything, man. We're gonna be rewarded forever. Remember this. Okay, Isaiah 4:1 is light work compared to the eternal reward that the Lord got for brothers, man. You know, that's light work, man. All right. So just you know, keep that mindset. You know, we'll take that mindset into perspective. You know, if it'll help. You know, but yeah, that's the point. You know, I just wanted to touch on that. Just hearing some few things this morning, listen to some things. All right, but Lord will. All right, you brothers. All right, and you sisters edified once again. I'm gonna give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Kakodash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders, GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful and shalom.